Welcome to the latest edition of Kernels from the Cornfield. No husks, no hulls, no shucks. News with a dash of commentary to spice up your fare for Wednesday, July 2nd, 2014. Flight risk. As I reported Tuesday, security alarms are going off surrounding intelligence coming out of the volatile Mideast that undetectable bombs are in the making. Reportedly, additional security screening and warnings will be implemented shortly on international flights. The U.S. is worried that Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula bomb master Ibrahim Hassan al-Assiri is experimenting with new chemicals, new methods of delivery, and training others to carry on his explosive legacy. Flying high now may not be such a grand idea. Kerosene on fire. Kerosene has been thrown on the fire that is the tension between Israel and Palestinians, especially the terrorist group Hamas. Over the past 24 hours, a Palestinian teenager was kidnapped from Jerusalem and left dead in a field in an apparent revenge killing for the 3 Israeli teens kidnapped and found murdered in a field yesterday. Tension is mounting. There's fighting in the street. The chance of Israel and Palestinians returning to the peace table seems even more remote as Israelis are calling for vengeance. Hobby Lobby impact. Another 50 cases in a similar vein as the Hobby Lobby case were also cited on the side of opponents to the contraceptive mandate in the Affordable Care Act. Tuesday, the Supreme Court confirmed its ruling on the religious freedom objection did apply to the other cases pending. The Supreme further noted that its ruling on closely held corporations was not restricted to only the 4 contraceptive methods at the focus of the case, but to all contraceptives. Without comment or action, the court let stand the lower court rulings in favor of those businesses involved in suits objecting to all methods contained in the ACA. Tuesday's order applies to companies owned by Catholics who oppose all contraception, cases involving Colorado-based Hercules Industries, Inc., Illinois-based Court and Lejohan Contractors, Inc., and Indiana-based Grote Industries, Inc. were awaiting action pending resolution of the Hobby Lobby case and included in Tuesday's ruling. Lower courts, who ruled in favor of President Barack Obama and his administration's position on the ACA's contraceptive mandate, were ordered to revisit the cases and rethink the decisions made. My thoughts on the decision are found in splitting hairs, yet right decision. Worst precedent? A new Quinnipiac University poll revealed Tuesday puts the label of worst president since World War II squarely on President Obama. Former President George W. Bush was a close second. Bush had the same honor in a similar poll during the same time period in his administration. The poll is a reflection of how people are feeling at the present time rather than a real indication of how history will see a presidency, I believe. How else could Richard Nixon have placed a distant third? How else could Jimmy Carter have escaped the reality of being the worst president, not just since World War II, but ever? You can check out the full rundown from the poll at quinnipiac.edu. Another new kid in town? Well, there won't be any new kids in town if residents of San Diego have their way. Last night they did. Protesters prevented buses carrying migrant children who've been crossing the U.S. border in Texas, most from Central America, from being relocated at a detention center in San Diego. The buses had to turn around and go to another center at San Isidro. The influx of children from such countries as Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador has become a humanitarian crisis. It is now at the center of efforts to push through immigration reform, an objective President Obama stated this week he could not wait for Congress to act. Speaking of the press, after House Speaker John Boehner announced his intention to bring a suit against what the top Republican in the country sees as illegal moves by the president and failure to faithfully execute the laws of the land, President Barack Obama said matter-of-factly Tuesday, middle-class families can't wait for Republicans in Congress to do stuff. So sue me. Sounds like the man who drew a red line that had to be reassessed may have evolved to having a backbone. Abuse at the NSA? Say it ain't so. A new report states that there is potential for the National Security Agency to commit abuse. The report states that the NSA program for collecting phone and internet information to look for security threats has the potential of privacy rights violations. Someone had to pay and commission a study and report to know this? The study reports the NSA program may push the program close to the line of constitutional reasonableness. Duh. Thought Police Minority Report. One for freedom to think and use your imagination, and a blow to those who want to prosecute people for their fantasies and thoughts. Former New York police officer Gilberto Dali had his conviction for having some gruesome and what many would call abnormal fantasies. Those fantasies, given life online, include kidnapping and eating his victims. While disgusting in nature, a federal judge ruled that Valley was guilty of fantasy roleplay, which is not a crime. The judge said a person can't be convicted of what he fantasizes about, but what he does. Valley's attorney, Julia Gatto, said, "We don't put people in jail for their thoughts. We are not the thought police, and the court system is not the deputy of the thought police." Losing but winning. With all the hype still going around today for Tim Howard, you would never know he was on the losing team in yesterday's World Cup matchup between the US of A and Belgium. Howard has become the new icon of social media. Howard played a super game yesterday, setting a world record of 16 blocked goals during the match which sent Team USA home. Focus change? As many of you know, I'm a contributor to CNN's iReport. I'm also a member of a closed group on Facebook of other iReporters and former iReporters. Lately, many of us have noticed what seems to be a new trend on iReport, a trend toward more commercialized reports. This brings me and others to speculate. We have noticed that what appears to be a trend recently in which the perspective has moved from the objective journalistic content to more promotion-based iReports. On the surface, these type of reports appear to be promoting a specific business or website, rather than providing journalistic content from ordinary people. Has the focus changed? Are individuals, groups, businesses now allowed to purchase space to promote their endeavors? Will an answer be forthcoming, or will we be left to wondering? Well, that's what caught my attention for Wednesday, July 2nd, 2014. Tune in tomorrow for another episode of Kernels from the Cornfield. I am Mark Ivy. Good evening.